song, which I don't know what it is. Appreciate you guys jumping on here. I have a feeling we'll just pick whatever it wants. That's how Spotify works, how AI works on Spotify, I guess. That is what we're going to talk about today. We're still waiting for Joel. Oh, no, we're not. He's arrived. All right. So Joel's our special guest today, but I will kick this off. Not with Joel so much, but we're definitely going to be hearing from him, Joel Kraut. Hopefully, you guys know who he is. If you're not, I'm going to introduce him here in a second. But first off, I do kind of want to talk about, we first off, this is the last call that we're doing in this free series. We've been doing these all month long. I will pop into the chat here where you can see the replays if you want to check that out. It's just on my YouTube channel or our YouTube channel, if you will. Shouldn't have any trouble finding the previous calls. They've all been about previous or other topics. AI is the, king of the day at this point in time, so we felt like this would be a great time to kind of jump into it. But first off, if you don't know who we are called Amped. I am Brandon Robertson. I'm the CEO of the company. We used to be called Mortgage Growth System, and we've been in this space essentially for about 10 years, working in, real estate lending, essentially. We've been heavily focused in the private money sector since about 2020. And that's kind of how we partly came to this Private Money Pros Mastermind community group. Talk a little bit about that. That's what this whole free call is about. So this would be something in the future going forward, the next weeks and every other call. Those are going to be available to members only. But anyway, let me get back to the background of who we are. Like I said, we've been working real estate lending space for a long time, pretty much as a marketing company, which has given us a ton of experience in understanding things. Additionally, with that, we also started our own brokerage, I guess about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, so that we could experience the full scope of, what brokers and lenders and stuff go through on the back end. So we had a complete visibility. It was a great learning experience to go and do that. That also gave us way more insights into the entire space besides just being, a marketing agency for, private money brokers and lenders, which we're still doing that for sure. As I mentioned before, we used to be called Mortgage Growth System. You might know that we wanted to change our name. Long story short is we really didn't like the branding, the look. We wanted to rebrand. We wanted to get mortgage out of our brand name title, and that's why we changed our name. Also, we knew that we had been working on a whole bunch of other things, and today we do a lot of things. Besides having this group, we also have a CRM and LOS system specifically for the space and a tool that helps you match your deals. So the deals that borrowers bring you to lenders, and the tool is called Lenderbase. And we'll actually get into a little bit more about all that soon. But lo and behold, long story short, we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients in this space. We've helped them on practically everything from marketing and otherwise. And then obviously, because we have our own brokerage, we've learned a lot about the back end side of it, which is the side that you guys live on, right? Which is the day-to-day stuff. How do you put deals together? How do you get deals funded through lenders, so on and so forth? And you know what you do every day, I think, for the most part. So I'm sure it's clear that that's the same kind of thing that we were doing over there. So, like I said, this is the last of the four calls. I put the YouTube link in the chat. So if you want to subscribe or even just check that YouTube channel out, you can watch some of the previous ones. Again, we'll be going forward with many more calls like this, lots of them in depth. And since today we're getting into the AI powered broker side of things, this will be a little bit high level, but hopefully helpful for a lot of you. I'm sure, no doubt about it, we're going to have more calls specifically about this in our private money community group. We already have some modules and some information about how to use AI that's going to be more in depth than what we share here today. There is a lot going on with AI, so I'm going to, like I said, try to keep it a little bit high level. But to speak a little bit about the community here, one of the main reasons that we built this community was we know in this space there's a lot of gatekeeping. A lot of people don't want to share their secrets. They don't want to tell you what lenders are using. Yeah, and we really don't like that. Even other, communities and stuff still kind of, follow that. The reality is there's so much business out there. There is no reason for gatekeeping. So this is a place where we can share everything that we know, everything that our connections know, and we're going to have lots of special guests again today. Our special guest is Joel Kraut, but we also wanted to make sure you weren't stuck trying to figure out everything on your own. Let's face it, you've probably all learned something, if not a lot of things, from other people. And the more people that you have that are able to help you, this is the mastermind part of this. It makes life so much easier, it speeds things up. And so that's kind of what this is. And then also making sure you have tools that assist you in everything you're doing. So you'll kind of get a sense of this. Again, so let me just get back to Joel real quick. Wait for us, Joel, because I know I'm still screen sharing. Make sure I
Sounds
think you're
good.
spotlighted. Is he spotlighted? No, he's
I
not
don't, no, no,
spotlighted.
it's just the
All right,
lights
let me
behind
add
me.
him.
I think. Sorry.
No, no, that's not. That's a feature on Zoom to make sure you pop up a
Oh,
little
I have no idea.
bit. Yeah. So Joel's joining us here. He owns Burr.com, and that's four R's, BRRR.com. It's hard to say it when you have to say all four R's, but when you say Burr, I think everybody knows Burr.com. So I know a lot of people already know him. I'm sure some of you in here do already, and if not, you're going to want to get to know him after today's calls and possibly the future ones. By the way, he's been in this space, both real estate investing and brokering and lending for 30 years or more than 30 years. And he's also heavily involved with AI. AI is, I think, had a major impact in what they're doing at his company, both internally and for his external consumers. We're going to talk to him about that. But he's actually using it to move deals through underwriting faster, operating more efficiently, getting quotes out faster, so on and so forth. I'll let him speak about that here in just a little bit because he knows way more about what they're doing internally than I do. But I think the key thing here with AI, oh, I forgot about, I'm not moving through all this stuff, but the key thing with AI is why now? This is actually something I will say real quick is that I think AI started growing in popularity. Like you started hearing about it probably about 3 years ago. If you messed with any type of AI back then, which was probably ChatGPT, that was the king on the street at that point in time, um, you probably figured out pretty quickly. It wasn't really that great, and you had to be super awesome at like prompting and all that. 2 years ago, I would say it was getting a little better. You still had to be really good at prompting. That's about the period of time I saw lots of people trying to sell you like basically like prompt packages or packages to be able to use ChatGPT a little bit more. You don't really see that anymore these days because I think as of about a year ago, that's when it started to get really, really good. That's when we also started telling our own team internally, you have to learn AI because if you don't, we're not going to be able to operate efficiently. We're not going to be a competitive company. And it's just going to be part of daily life. And today it certainly is. But so why now though? Speed, right? And on your side of the business, there's no doubt about it. This is a good point in time for me to just ask in chat, does anybody here use AI currently in their business? Just let me know yes or no, working on it. Whatever answer makes sense. I would be very curious to kind of know. I'm sure we have a mix of people. There should be some yeses. I'd be amazed. Also makes you helps you with decision making. That's absolutely the case. Better inputs, faster decisions. Like I cannot even tell you, like I'm able to make a week's worth of decisions in half a day at this point in time with AI. And also, I think very, very importantly, is that it eliminates low value tasks, right? A lot of us have done the things that are, really designed for, bare bones, $12 an hour employees, if you have such a thing in your part of the country, but you get it. The reality is all of you guys are in here. You're probably all worth hundreds of dollars per hour. Why spend your time on that? But if you still want to control it and get it done, AI can help you, accomplish that. So that's kind of that part of it. And we will talk about some tools and stuff today, but I do want to talk about Joel for a second here. So he's got 30, like I said, 30 years in lending space. AI is definitely a part of his business, big time. And before we get into some of the other tools, actually, I think I want to get into the tools first, right, Chrissy? Yeah, let's do that. Sorry, Joel. I'm going to put you on
No
pause for a
problem.
second. Yeah, he's anxious over there to start talking, but it's okay. But anyway, like I said, it's not about doing more. It's about being able to do or take things off your plate, essentially. And that's actually what we've done here a lot in our company at this point in time. There's a lot of things I know myself as a CEO I used to do a ton of. Now I can just tell our team, hey, go and do this. If you don't know how to do it, just have AI help you do it, help you figure it out, and that has eliminated a ton of work on my side. But there are five tools we'll talk about briefly. And actually, there's a bonus tool in here as well that I'm going to talk about. Claude, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Jotform AI, ManyChat. And we're also going to talk about GHL. That's the bonus module here because it has some AI in it. Hopefully, these are all sound somewhat familiar. Also, by the way, we're going to, if you didn't notice, you're going to get a little handout at the end of this call too. And we'll put that in chat. It's just a PDF. So like if you're sitting here taking notes about what you're seeing on the screen, you don't have to. You certainly can. That's not a problem. In fact, I believe everybody here might even be able to use the AI built into Zoom to ask it questions. That's a little quick tip for you all. If you that's not on here, if you use Zoom regularly, especially if you're doing meetings, all of our team is pretty much remote, so all of our meetings happen on Zoom. One of the best ways we're able to, basically see, oh, what tasks were assigned to me on this meeting, or what did this person just say because I had to step out and go to the bathroom. We just use the AI companion on Zoom and we get those answers real quick. Or even at the end of the meeting, we're like, oh, what happened? We get big summaries, all that stuff. So AI is just, been transformative for us. And I think if there's anybody out there that's not like fully taking advantage of it, you should start digging in. It's going to save you a lot of time. It may slow you down for 5 minutes, but I promise you're going to get 5 minutes back every 5 minutes after you start using it. So we're going to get into each tool here real quick, just so you have a high level sense. So Claude, I think I feel like this one's getting really, really popular. So probably most people have heard of this at this point. It's probably right behind ChatGPT in popularity. But what it's really good at is writing and deal analysis on the high level. That's really what it's excellent at. So that could be emails to your clients, structuring deal summaries that you may send off to lenders or just to keep internally as notes. It's great at breaking down complex scenarios. It's also really good at creating content for blogs, LinkedIn newsletters, and that would actually include like if there's any like statistical data that you want to represent visually, it's awesome at that. And it's in my opinion, it's probably the best at that. That not only do they look cool, they also come out explaining everything you want to explain, even like really, really complex things. So that's Claude for you. One other little tiny tip as if you're going to go and look up these tools, just be careful. Make sure if you go and look them up on Google or whatever, you're using the proper links to them. So a lot of companies use like similar words, and then you get like something that's not exactly Claude. I had a team member sign up for Claude the other day, and they're like, "Wait a second, I don't think this is Claude." I was looked, and I was like, "No, that's not Claude. You're on somebody tricked you, and you clicked another link." So just be careful. Make sure you're really looking finding the proper link. I'm sure if you just Google it again, prompt it properly, Google, and say, "Give me the official link to the actual Claude website or whatever." You shouldn't have any problems getting there. Perplexity, and I think this one's a tool that a lot of people don't know about, and this is actually my number one go-to AI tool, mostly because it's the hands down best research engine. If you want to compare it to anything, it would be kind of like Gemini, which a lot of you probably know is already kind of built into Google search now. You can go to AI mode. Google Gemini is okay, but Perplexity is a lot better. And the thing that I will tell you about Perplexity is it's really the only one that has true real-time access to the internet without like providing it links and such. And so if you're researching anything, like it says here, like loan guidelines, it's literally searching in real time right then and there. Almost every other AI tool, the knowledge is somewhere between like 3 and 9 months old. So it's basically cataloged a portion of the internet. If something changed, for instance, like let's just say you're like, hey, what happened in Baltimore with the real investment property real estate market recently? You're probably going to get way better answers from Perplexity, and it's also going to give you links to articles and websites and other stuff as well. So really good for that. Market insights and trends, excellent for that too. So a lot of times our clients are asking us things about like, oh, should I market in this state? Should I do this? Should I do that? I can get again real-time insights from Perplexity on like what's going down in each locality, and give them actual real data. How much is our property values worth here? Are there ending lending problems here like you see in Baltimore or Philadelphia or South Side Chicago, that kind of stuff. Scenario comparisons and learning new strategies quickly. So again, like I said, I'd be curious if anyone knows of this one. If you do, put it in chat. I'd love to know. Just see how many people heard it. Because usually when I tell people about Perplexity, they're like, "Oh, I haven't heard that. I'm gonna have to check it out." Please check this one out. It's really good. ChatGPT. We all know the loved ChatGPT, right? So I think these days, what I would say is it's not necessarily the best at writing without, doing a lot of training on it, but it's gotten really, really good at social media graphics, ad creatives, that type of thing. So if you're posting social media, you can get some really awesome graphics over there. Again, like event thumbnails, banners, rapid visual iterations for campaigns. The key thing here, as you see, is important. It's still not a magic button. Bad inputs get bad images, and I think Chrissy actually might be able to talk about ChatGPT a little bit because this is her go-to tool. She's on the design, branding, graphic side, besides other things with our company. So she knows a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's still great, but I think we all have seen those images that we know, like, oh, that's ChatGPT. Especially lately, I'm seeing like flyer images nonstop that are ChatGPT, and we're already starting to, I think, get tired of that. I know I kind of am, but it's good enough for a lot of things, right? If you're like, man, I just need to crank this thing out, do it. But what I would recommend is give it some image prompts. So, like, give it some examples of things that you like. And that way, it won't make the images look like all the other AI images out there. So, I always find something that I like, maybe two or three ideas that I like, and I plug that in and then also give it a lot of good data with the prompts. And on our PDF that we're giving out, there's also some prompts in there that you can use as well.
Mm. Yeah. So, yeah, that's for ChatGPT. I'm sure, again, we've all heard of it. Jotform AI. This one we wanted to bring in here because this is something that we use internally. So some of our clients actually have AI chatbots on their websites and can be used in marketing campaigns and all that. It's very cool, a great way to be able to basically just give it all your lending criteria or whatever you want about your brand, what you do as a broker, and it can answer all those questions. It's super cool. Additionally, this is another idea for you with it is if you have teams. So, actually, I'd be curious about this too. Does anybody have teams? Are you all brokers of solo brokers, or do we have teams? You can put that in chat too. We're always curious to know about that. But if you have teams, you might find this very useful as well. So what we've done is we've created a couple different bots for internal use. So it's essentially creating SOPs or standard operating procedures, if you will, or a knowledge base, if you will, for our own procedures, so that because of the way our team is, a lot of us are siloed. This person does this specific thing. This person does this specific thing. But the reality is there's a lot of overlap. Well, the best way for them to get answers sometimes, instead of bugging me or bugging somebody else, is just jump onto the AI tool and ask it, oh, well, how much does it cost to do this? How long does it take for this to happen? That kind of thing. So it's been very, very helpful and transformative for us as well. And Jotform AI, it's one of the cool things about it right now. The AI usage in it is free. When I say that, it doesn't mean you have to have a subscription level where AI is included, but there's not per usage or credit-based usage. So you can just go bonkers with it, basically. If anyone's used AI a lot, pretty much all the tools kind of have a limit or different subscription levels that give you a different amounts of credits with it. So if you're using AI a ton, a lot of times you can hit that limit or you have to buy more credits. With Jotform AI, I'm not really sure how they're accomplishing it, but for whatever reason, they don't have limits and they don't use credits. So you can just use it until your heart's content. Of course, this is a kind of tool that is programmed, so it doesn't come with any pre-built knowledge. Again, it's programmed according to whatever your use case scenario is. But again, you can kind of see here on the screen the different things that you can program it for. Now, ManyChat is another tool that a lot of people have heard of. It was originally just kind of like an automation tool. I actually met the founders of this company when they first launched their tool. I don't even know. It was probably like 2018 or something like that. Originally, it was strictly for like responding to DMs, and I still think that's what it's primarily used for. So I will tell you, like if you've ever seen like a Facebook or especially Instagram post, it's like, hey, just comment the word blah blah blah, and I'll send you this, PDF, or I'll send you this thing. They're almost always using ManyChat or possibly the GHL AI as well. So it's a great tool for that, especially if you're doing any type of social media content and you want to do that trick where you're like, hey, just comment, broker, just comment burr.com or whatever it is, and I'll send you over the details of this. So it makes it really instant. So like it says, deliver lead magnets. That's basically what that's called. And then GHL AI. So this is really cool. GHL, if you're not familiar, some people call it go high level. Technically, it's actually called high level. I think they have a branding issue, but that's another story. But it is becoming the number one fastest growing CRM in the world. It is, in fact, what we have built our CRM and LOS system on largely because of its capabilities. It's adding new features every day. It's added tons and tons of stuff inside of AI. So what it can do with AI currently is it can automate follow-up sequences. It can actually have real conversations. It's similar in some sense to the Jotform AI. It does have a little pre-built knowledge in it, but you can create it to be whatever you want. So again, you could add in anything that you wanted to about your own brokering or lending capabilities, stuff about your company, and it can actually answer those through text, email. It can even do conversational AI. And actually, I just want to show you real quick too. It can actually build out landing pages and stuff like that. And I did this morning. I just built this site strictly with a prompt. And guess what? I don't worry about what's on this right now. I will actually send this link out, but this is just a little landing page for us to explain the four core services that we offer. So you can review that. But the main thing is this is all done with the prompt. I actually left. I had to go somewhere, and then I came back and it was done. Like I've changed probably about 5% of this at most myself manually, but it created all this based on a prompt. And the way I even did that was I actually used Perplexity, in this case, to tell me how to build a prompt because it was already trained on our brand and information in our products and services. It gave me the prompt. I just put it into GHL. I said, build this landing page for me. And this is what it's done. Now, certainly, I'm going to change some things and update stuff on here. But if you've ever built a landing page or wanted one, I can tell you manually doing something like this would have taken me hours and hours of time. This took me 3 minutes to build out, right? And it looks pretty good for the 3 minutes. So I just kind of wanted to show you that, guys, that real quick. So GHL AI, is going to continue to improve and get better. And we ourselves are beginning to master it, and we'll be rolling it out to anybody that's using our LOS or CRM systems as well. So with that,
Amazing.
hopefully, yeah, these 5 tools are, 5+ tools have gotten you, getting your wheels turning. I do want to make sure at the end of the call too, we're going to open this up for Q&A, and that can either be about these tools or anything you want, maybe about what Joel's about to talk about. I'm sure he's going to have a wealth of knowledge. He always has on these calls, and he'll be on future calls we're going to try to get all 30 years of knowledge out of him over the next year here. So without further ado, I want to let this move over to Joel a little bit and kind of talk to him about what he's doing with AI inside of his business, both what they use it for internally and then how they're actually helping brokers use their lending service through AI and stuff. So with that, Joel, let me just turn it over to you, and let me get off my screen share too, so we can see that face of yours.
No, it's all good. Believe me, it's good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Joel.
Thank you for having me on. As I sit here listening to you and I'm thinking about, what should I say or what are we really doing already? I'm amazed that it's only been probably 6 months since I first personally engaged with ChatGPT. That was my entree to it. And for me, I really thought that was artificial intelligence. And it's really just the beginning and on the journey, right? As you start to use some of these different tools, you're amazed at how simple it is. I mean, Brandon is not exaggerating when he's telling you what he built there in 3 minutes. Maybe it's five, and the other 2 minutes are just really honing in on his prompt. So if you're my age, think about it. You had children that were young at one point, right? And invariably the kids would come to you and they wanted something. So they'd say, well, I talked to mom and she said, if you said it was okay, I could have this. And you would say no. And then one of the other kids would roll in from the living room or the family room and almost ask you the exact same question, but slightly differently in the hopes to get the result you want. And for me, the prompting, when Chris in my office was teaching me about the concepts of prompting, as Brandon was talking about, at first, obviously, it was foreign. I was going to ask Chrissy a direct question, and that's what the answer should be. It should be simple, right? But it doesn't quite work that way. You're training the system to begin to think like you do and anticipate what you're thinking you really want, and then it will provide for you almost instantaneously, as Brandon said. I mean, obviously, as you put together some of the more complex tools that, not tools, but end results that Brandon just showed you, those are going to take a couple of more minutes for them to populate. But it's stunning just how fast. And for us as a company, we made the hard decision about 12 months ago. We would never be able to compete with Kiavi, RCN, Lima One by throwing 100 people that don't really know what they're doing at an aimed for solution and having 90 of them keep missing. And you, as our customer, just getting further and further annoyed with us. So we went all in to change that dynamic. How could we use the technologies that two people in our office in particular love to deal with all day, every day, and be able to change the parameters of what we were going to do as a company? So we tried to look at what the biggest pain points are. And for some of you who have dealt with me, one of the pain points is how fast can we get something back to you, right? I could be a good guy, but who really cares at the end of the day? If other systems are set up to get you what you want faster, that's going to matter to you. So, we took that under advisement and went back to the drawing board and said, look, what if I could give everybody the tool they want, which is Rich Wagner calls into our office. He finally gets to the person he wants through the prompt menus, right? Dial extension 107, dial extension 106. Shit, I dialed the wrong one, hang up, redial. All the normal things we go through as humans. How could we take that out of the equation and give Rich what he wanted, or give Chrissy, or Brandon, or Mike, or whomever? So we created a tool that you can use directly without us. I mean, to me, to see that come together over the last 6 months and realize that it really works and it's real and it's tangible is incredible. So you can imagine you're at a four-way intersection, driving your car, just like most of America does today, and you scroll on your phone because, hey, that's what we all do. We're not supposed to, but we do it. And you want to be able to price out a loan. Well, now you can. You don't have to dial 1-800-BURR. You can just use your own phone, not interact with anybody, price up your loan in seconds. Has anybody ever been on Loan Pass with Dominion? You've been on Dominion's platform, and it's just painful, right? You have these 30 questions down the left side. And by the time I'm done, I usually just want to put a bullet in my head. It's just so annoying to get pricing from that damn system. So what we did was we took a look at that and a few other systems, Kiavi's in particular, and we said to ourselves, how do we combine this and enhance it a little bit, like Coke to Coke Zero, at least theoretically, and make it simple for the user? So now instead of having, 30 questions, there's about 6 or 7, and then the rest all populates for you automatically. It gets pulled in, as Brandon's saying, from all different types of systems and background. Instead of giving you the link to interact, we do that behind the scenes, right? All through artificial intelligence. So we're not going to ask you anymore like the stupid question, like, is it rule? Do you know? Are you sure? Did you go to the USDA website? You don't have to do any of that anymore. Just plug the address in and it immediately will tell you. What are the annual taxes? We don't have to look it up anymore. It's boom, it's populated before you can think of the answer. And thus, you can hit the button, that crazy button, calculate, and it gives you the pricing. And you can now determine what you want to show your client. You can add yield spread to it on the fly. You don't have to ask us anymore how it works. You can buy the rate. What's the lowest rate you can get to, Joel? Just open up the details and see where you can get down to yourself instantly and see what it costs to do it without talking to our office. And then, if you're crazy enough to like what you see, you can then create your own term sheet. And if you give us your logos, we'll put yours on it so it's from you, not from us. And you can do that all without talking to us anymore. We get to the point of running credit. How many of you have done enough loans where you get so frustrated that no one noticed that the credit report only had 2 open trade lines, not the 3 required, until 3 or 4 weeks into the cycle, and now we have to change something up? The AI agents are now scanning that instantly and giving us that feedback on the fly. We've trained the AI agents to scan background reports, appraisals, credit reports, so we can give you instant updates through artificial intelligence again to the needs list that day. If someone were to give us a full file in the morning, we can conditionally approve it in the afternoon and get your first rotation of conditions out. So for us, that was the only answer, right? We're not going to be able to do 2,000 and 3,000 loans a year with people. I know we potentially could, but I don't want to hire 100 people overseas because that's the only way to be able to do it financially that would, enable us to charge 1 and 2 points, or else we'd have to charge a fortune to pay for all those salaries. I mean, think about it. I don't know about you guys. I travel out to Phoenix and there's a running sign at In-N-Out Burger for $21 an hour to work the hamburger line. $21 an hour. I mean, we'd be out of business. I couldn't afford 50 people overseas at $21 an hour. Now, at a different number, which we're all more familiar with, yes, you can make that work. But why? We've talked to a lot of companies. I'm sure you guys know the names of some of them. They literally have people overseas that take documents and move it from one input system to another. That's their job. That's their only job. They're not making any other decisions. Zero. They're taking it out of one input system, moving it to the next one, so then Brandon can see it. Brandon then sends it back to his agents overseas. They upload it so Chrissy can see it into the next step. It is ridiculous. So we decided not to do that. Our system is totally different in that regard, where through artificial intelligence, it'll take you right through all the steps till you can see where you get all the way to closed and funded. So for a lot of the brokers that we've dealt with, and ourselves too, as a third-party origination shop originally, it's frustrating as hell. You're waiting around all day to get one answer to a question, which comes back from India at 2 a.m., right? If you've been in the Rock portal, I don't care how many times you punch in a question on an appraisal and you want to fight and dispute it, you don't get any response until 2 a.m. Eastern time. Well, it's difficult to keep. Now, they're huge, so they get away with it. But we need to catch up in a mature market. So we had to change the way things were happening. Or else, why would someone ever shift any of their business to us? Unless we're actually solving for some of your pain points. We understand we have to be competitive price-wise. We are. But we still have to solve a pain point, or else, again, if I'm giving you the same rate as somebody else, why would you change? You already know how their system works. You're used to that pain. But if I can eliminate it and you start bringing one or two loans out of your 20 a month over, and it's like, wow, this does work. The guy was telling us the truth and we like this, and I can get paid like every 8 to 10 days consistently or 7 days. Now we have something to talk about. So that's what our process has been totally geared to. And for me, it's been an unbelievable learning experience in just a short period of time. I mean, what Chris and Aaron are doing on a nightly basis. I recently used a product called Napkin AI. I had no idea what the hell Napkin AI was, but Chris said, well, you want to put the graphics into your presentation, right? Just use this. Forget Canva. Canva is yesterday's newspaper. Because I would complain about how long it would take me in Canva to do something. So he showed me how to use Napkin AI, and I can almost drag and drop just like we do with files now, except now I can do it with graphics and get exactly what I want from the internet right into my presentations. And back to Brandon originally, in 3 minutes, you have a relatively professional layout, right? It's incredible. So now, if I'm Rich Wagner, not to pick on you, Rich, but if I'm Rich Wagner and I'm making a presentation to a client and we can start to do that, think about how different that looks to your client, right? Now you're one out of every 50 people they're working with, except one out of 50 in a good way. You just entered the top 2%ers, which look, that's where people want to work. That's where the most confidence is brought out. That's where people feel that they want to be and how they want to be taken care of in today's world. And you could give it to them with the use of these tools. So for us, it's been crucial and, significantly different. I mean, we just approved a loan and we're closing it today. We're funding it ourselves and closing it. So we can do that. And then that person, once they get the loan documents back to us, we'll rip through that in about an hour and get funded, not batch funded like that night or the next day. We are trying to stay focused with technology to be able to solve for the pain points that we've had, we believe you experience, the feedback that you give us. I mean, the people who have been sort of our beta testing on our site have been giving us a lot of feedback. Unlike, lending wise, we actually do what they tell us and update it without charging, right? So we're trying to catch up in a mature industry and then get to neutral. And once we do, I feel like there'll be no stopping us. But to Brandon's earlier point, the technology itself is not truly mature yet, but where it is relative to 3 years ago or 2 years ago is light years difference, to the point where an old guy like me can learn the new tricks because they've made it so easy to do so. I mean, if you're 25 on this call, God bless you. I mean, what you're going to be able to do is incredible in a year, not even years. And for the rest of us, we have to pay attention or else we're going to get bypassed. And none of us want that, right? Or else we wouldn't be in these types of groups. I believe, like Brandon and Chrissy, the gatekeeping thing is ridiculous. It's a complete waste of time. It's about you improving your own knowledge set so that you can always be competitive. And the United States of America is just a gigantic country. And if you can't find the loans you want to inside of that, that's on you. Use the technologies to be able to help accelerate how you learn how to find those opportunities and be more aware of what's happening, right? Brandon mentioned Baltimore. I dealt with somebody this morning in Baltimore County. We're funding in Baltimore City. It's sporadic. Philadelphia, if you're in 132, 121 zip codes, you got to have better borrowers. You're being really hemmed in on what appraisers you can use. Philadelphia is being watched closely. South side of Chicago, Indianapolis, Cleveland's next, right? So you got to be willing and able to adapt and using some of these systems to ask it questions to find out where the biggest growing areas are all the time in terms of number of loans so you can keep moving in that direction so you're in a good spot all the time. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that if it costs you zero to figure that out and spend it instead of being like us and spending thousands of dollars a year with Forecasa to get that information, right? You can work backwards and get that information for free. So maybe you should turn your Facebook marketing to these counties in Texas. Now Atlanta, Georgia, and the surrounds are back in the top 10 or 12, right? For years it fell out. Now it's back. Jacksonville is a little quieter than it was. What sections in Florida are good? Because everyone tells you Florida's horrible, but when you look on the number of loans being done, it's still in the top six in the country. It wasn't 1, 2 like it was in 2020. That's true. But you still want to go hunt in the most fertile grounds, right? So we're constantly scanning and using those technologies to our advantage. And I really believe it's crucial for all of us to be able to do that for ourselves. And it's frustrating because you wish things could be the way they were, right? Because that was easy and you had it on lock. But that's just not real for any of us. And if we're going to get stuck there, we're going to get hurt there. I always would tell the story when I speak publicly, like imagine I'm 80. It's, 5 o'clock in the morning, it's freezing cold out and it's raining. Get up in my small studio apartment. I take a quick shower. I go to the front door of the apartment. I take my apron off the hook. I go downstairs to the bus stop on the corner. It's freezing cold. It's raining. It's dark out. I'm 80 years old. I'm hunched over. Like it doesn't all work as well as it used to. And I'm jumping on a bus to go 2 stops to my work. And I walk in the front door. I jump around the counter. I put my apron on and I say, Miss Robertson, can I supersize that for you? Or would you like cream in your coffee behind the counter at McDonald's, right? Because I'm 80 and I have no choice. Social Security isn't doing it. And I didn't do anything to improve my own knowledge base for the last 20 years to ensure that I wouldn't be stuck having to work like this. The scary part, though, is with AI technology, McDonald's has taken away that dream for me. Because whether you're aware or not, McDonald's opened a fully automated store to test the market. A fully automated store with no physical employees. But you know what happened yesterday there, right? No one called in sick. Nobody asked for a raise. Every burger flipped immediately at the 3.06 second mark. There was no variance in the register because they only used debit cards, credit cards, Apple Pay, Venmo. So the register numbers were perfect. Nobody asked for union holidays. There's no union benefits. And the store worked perfect. So they've taken away my 80-year-old dream, my backfall, my backup plan, my plan B. So for me, even though I'm 63, this is what I need and have to be doing on a daily basis. And I think for all of you, it's a great opportunity. It's a little scary. It's exciting. But in the end, there's going to be three kinds of people. I haven't talked to Brandon about this directly, but I'm almost 100% sure he would agree with me. You're either going to get replaced by AI, you're going to be dictated to by AI, or you're going to use AI to dictate what you want to do. I think those would be the only three kinds of people left. And if you're in group one and possibly even group two, you're going to be on the government support program that the government's going to need to use to keep people at some kind of basic living level. So I would invite you all to dig in here. It's super easy. I mean, I'm an old guy. It's only like 6 years ago I learned that a computer wasn't just an email machine. And if I could figure it out, I'm nothing special. You can too. And we're all here to help you. Again, we don't believe in the gatekeeping thing. We want to help. It helps our businesses, but it helps you. So selfishly together, we can both do better, not one of us versus another. And I think that's really the theme of what we're trying to create the last 4 weeks together and what we want to do inside of school together with you all is to help one and one become three, right? I mean, I know the math never lies, but together I think one and one is more than that. And Brandon showed you that go high level, the GHL, right? Everything in our world's an acronym, but go high level. And to me, there's a book out there called The Who Not the How by Dan Sullivan, where they're talking about building your teams and how your team can help you be more than individual islands. And that book is on steroids now because of the use of Go High Level and other bits and pieces, Claude and Gronk, and all the pieces that are going into what's happening out there, right? So it took that concept it brought it into machine language, machine learning language, and it is accelerated at a frightening speed. But instead of being frightened, you can choose to get on board and use it to your advantage. Getting back to that children analogy earlier, like you're going to practice your prompts, and the prompts are going to dictate how successful the materials are that you keep putting together. And as you hone those prompts, you're going to get better and better results. And for me, that's been a practice and trial. And, on Sundays, I'm sitting in Starbucks if it's raining out for a couple hours and I'm just practicing on it. Chris will be amazed Monday. I'll come back and ask him some questions or show him what I did, including a landing page or a presentation update, literally in minutes. It's unbelievable. And you don't get frustrated because you can change it so quick. That's the awesome part. I used to get nuts, right? I mean, look at my hairdo. But like you pull the hair out of your head, ha ha. But now I can change that in 3 seconds, not 3 seconds, but 30 seconds to 3 minutes. That's real. And instead of being frustrated, I can see what I want to see. And to me, that's actually been amazing. I think that's just awesome for us all. Being able to compare different scenarios for clients quickly to get to what you think is highest and best to make your presentation, but still have that fallback scenario if they like the other. It's right there for you in seconds instead of having to go back to an idiot like me, wait for them to put a new term sheet together for you. Joel, you gave me max leverage at 75, but what does it look like at 70 and 65? On our system, you just change the button and in a second you have it, right? It's in that sense, it's awesome. It saves us hours and saves you aggravation of waiting for people like me, idiots like me to get back to you, right? These companies are busy, they spend a fortune in marketing to bring in leads. They still want to support you as a broker. They're trying to do as much direct business as they can because it's easier. That's the truth, right? But without you guys who can bring us, 5 to 10 to 20 loans a month, it's just too expensive to keep finding the individual client all the time. So we want to give you tools that make it efficient so that you enjoy it. Or else, for Burr loans and people like us, we'll never catch up. We'll be dead in the water. So that's where we've spent our time and money. Again, I think of the Loan Pass example, and if you've ever personally experienced that, you know the pain that I'm talking about. You make one mistake, you start over. You want to make one change, you start over. It's crazy. So why not eliminate that all and give you the tool for the 2026 and 2027? That's what we're doing. It's all cloud-based. So every time you open it up, it's all real time. All the pricing is up to date. You don't have to call in to make sure you got the right pricing sheet. Is it today? It's all good. Every time you open it up, it's good, right? It's what's happening out there now. So for us, that was crucial. We're excited and we're looking forward to be able to help you and support you.
Yep, absolutely. And with that too, there are a couple more tips I figure I'd just drop for you guys real quick because I'm sure there's a few people on here who is maybe you've barely used AI or you're reluctant or you haven't had a lot of success with it. If you want to kickstart, one of the things you can do, whatever tool you're using, is you can literally just kind of tell AI, like, this is what I'm trying to do. What is the best way to get the best output from it? So you can just say, teach me how to use you, basically, and it will tell you exactly what it needs from you. The other thing is you can tell it to interview you and say, hey, ask me as many questions as needed so that I can accomplish X, and it does an amazing job. Or if you're maybe a little bit more advanced with it and you're familiar with what's typically called a persona or a project, it's basically having like almost like a robot with inside the chat or the AI tool that's specifically trained for a thing. Like, oh, how do you, process loans or, create email content or write emails to people? You can ask it how to program that so that employee or AI agent is the most efficient. So what I would encourage anybody that's struggling with AI for any reason is like, first off, I should say you shouldn't struggle too much, but if you're still not quite getting to where you need to be, ask it how to get you to where you need to be, and it's going to tell you exactly what to do. And then again, if you just have it interview you as well, it's going to make amazing outputs. Again, that's kind of how I created that landing page this morning. Is I already trained the another AI tool, Perplexity, by asking it how to train it. It has all my info. I told it then, can give me a prompt that I'm going to use in JHL AI funnel builder so I can build this website that represents these things. Again, I literally only took me a couple of minutes to accomplish this, and yes, really like 3 minutes to do all that stuff. So if, hopefully that little tip helps. Now, just real quick, Joel, before
I
we
just want
start
to say
talking,
something, Brandon.
yeah,
Brandon's
you
really
go ahead.
smooth at this already, right? So everyone,
Yeah,
for myself, I would feel a little intimidated, right? He's really good at this already. I'm telling you what he just told you works. I have sat there and said in the chat, GPT prompt, please do this for me. Please tell me how to do this. And it will tell you. And it'll give you, 6 bullets so you can go on somebody else's website and actually follow the bullets and get it right. So he's telling you the truth. It's not just because he's great at this already.
yeah. I don't have to be great anymore.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, look, it can be intimidating for somebody. You get a young guy like you, has a lot of experience doing this type of stuff because they spend a lot of time on it and they're comfortable, right? You've reached a level where you're comfortable interacting with this type of software systems, and a lot of us aren't. But it
Mm,
is not like it was 10 years ago, where that uncomfort level you can't get through it. That's just not true anymore. This really, just get your favorite cup of coffee, calm yourself down for 5, 10 minutes, and start asking it questions, and you'll be stunned at how easy it is.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And as Christy put in chat here, we're going to open up Q&A in just a second. I just want to give Joel one last little chance to tell you about his company, and what they do for brokers out there. If you want to use him as a lender, he's definitely one of our favorites. He's also super cool if you can't tell, and he has the best haircut in the business. Uh, but other than that, go ahead, Joel. Just tell them a little bit so they know about you guys and where to get what they need from you.
So, we have 2 channels now. We have direct to client. Some brokers have brought us deals, that's true, and we've run them through Burr Loans. But for the most part now, we run them through DSCR Loan Funder. Just like when you go to RCN and you fund on their broker channel, right? Their wholesale channel, and it comes up, I think it's commercial loan funder, I think it says, right? Is Dominion commercial loan funding and RCN is commercial loan funder? One or the other. So now we're DSCR loan funder. So your client, the 1 out of 100 you have that reads the loan documents, they want to go find out where the hell DSCR loan funder is and call them direct to cut you out next time. There's no way to do it. DSCR loan funder can't do the loan directly. They still have to go back to Rich. They still have to go back to Chrissy. We don't have a way to give them the loan directly. It doesn't matter who they call, right? So that was important to us because we've been a TPO shop for many years, a third party origination shop, and we'd be pissed off when Rock would retarget my customer. Like it didn't help me, right? That wasn't helping my business, losing my customer because they could do it cheaper than me directly. Right? We didn't like that. We didn't want to create that. So we created a completely different channel, DSCR Loan Funder, that can go white label end to end for you. And you'll see that we're going to send the updated needs list, the open items list to you, right? From fundmydscr.com. There's no website for fundmydscr.com. There's no place for people to go find it and circumvent you. That was important to us. Again, we spent years in your shoes, like literally, thousands upon thousands of loans. And we didn't want to turn around and do that to somebody. Plus, I'm old and I had to get it right. So I couldn't spend 5 years fighting with you. I need to get it right now, right? So the next 3 years, 5 years are fruitful. So we wanted to give you the product, a system that was user friendly for you, not necessarily for me. but for you as our conduit. So that was really important to us. And, constantly listening to you so we can make updates and upgrades that you tell us are needed. It doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think. You're exposed to the market all day. So look, we're a small, nimble company, but with 20 people, we can do 2,500 loans a year. We don't need 100 people, for companies. We've met some that are doing $100 million a year and like they have 50 employees. Like, I don't know what the hell the employees could do all day, to be honest. So we're really conscious of that, but we're all also making sure we're conscious of listening to you and trying to incorporate into our systems as fast as possible. That's important for us. And Alex's point in the chat, starting small is a great way to go. That's what we've done. We have talked to a couple of third-party origination shops that are pretty big. Most of you probably would know the names of them. And we've asked them to give us some business to try it because we're friends for a long time. So figure they're doing 50 loans a month and we're asking them for two. We don't want to do anything to be disruptive to their business. We want to work on what tweaks they want to see. They know which customers they can afford to give us one to so that the customer won't be upset if it takes an extra day. We won't get ridiculous feedback like Brandon calling me up screaming. He's going to call me up, dude, you screwed this up. You got to change it this way. That's real feedback. That's what we're looking for. So, we picked basically five third-party origination shops that are pretty sizable, and we basically get 2 loans a month from each one of them, 10, and that's what we quote practice on. So to Alex's point, yes, we're starting small. We're doing the majority of our own loans, and eventually, probably within 30 days, 100% of our loans. So we'll be doing over 100 loans a month in a month, funding them all, selling them all off within 7 to 14 days, and practicing on ourselves, not on you. Right? That was important to us. We didn't want to screw up anybody because we're friends and they want to give us a chance and then hurt you. We didn't want to do that. So DSCR Loan Funder is not doing that. DSCR Loan Funder is taking Alex's advice in the chat, starting small, being consistent, building good process, and then look, within 3 6 months, we'll open it up for the wind, and we're excited about that. But we wanted to make sure we were ready.
Well, thanks, Joel. And we can pop his contact info and obviously website. Website's easy one. Burr.com. That's with 4 R's. That's where they can go to the pricing engine for you over on Burr.com too, right? Chris is going to pop that in there. At this point too, before we get to the Q&A, I did want to talk about, private money pros. That's what this call is for. Obviously, our company is Ampd, but Ampd is ultimately the engine that powers this, community and mastermind. And if I wasn't clear earlier, I want to say that, the reason we developed it was a culmination of a couple things. One is working with hundreds of private money brokers. We've seen a lot of the challenges that they've gone through and faced on their own. Also, pretty big differences from one client to the next. One says, "Oh, I can't really do rehab loans. That was the topic of last week. They're just too complicated, or I can't figure them out, or they never seem to go through." While others are doing a great job, we wanted to make sure we had a way to teach everybody and provide everybody, both our clients on our marketing side and just way more people with those kinds of tools and information so they can succeed at the highest level in all kinds of different facets of their business. The other part of that culmination came from, like I said, us having our own brokerage. Chrissy is the president of that too. They learned that from scratch. They actually even went through like basically a training program that basically didn't give them a whole lot of insight and wasn't really enough for them to really understand like the business. And so they just, bootstrapped, learned a lot. Luckily, we had a little bit of AI to help us expedite it. And we want to make sure that you guys are getting a lot of tools, information,
And
support.
Joel helped too.
Yeah, and Joel too. Yes, Joel was also primary coach to expedite things, and that's the kind of thing that we need, right? We need people that have walked down the path that we haven't yet, so we can follow them down that path, and that's essentially what we're building here. So Chrissy, do you mind sharing screen sharing the school group where private money pros is available, just so people can see that, and I'll kind of talk through that stuff a little bit. But key thing, like I said before, it's all about like no gatekeeping. We also want to make sure we have a community of good, active brokers in there at all levels. Some people may be on the newer side, others, been doing it for a very long time. I know we have Kevin in here who's been doing this for a super long time, has his own group on LinkedIn, one of the biggest out there, if not the biggest one on LinkedIn for private money brokering. We have frameworks, support, deal help inside there, and that's one of the key things too. So first off, some of it's self-paced. That's what she's showing here. Here's a bunch of stuff in here that we're gonna keep adding to. And again, we've figured out that you need this because we needed it ourselves, and the clients that we already work with need them too. And that's why we've created all these frameworks and SOPs in here. And so, Chrissy, was there anything in particular about this section you wanted to say?
No, oh, I
It's
thought I
okay.
was still muted. No, I think you covered it, but we have the community, which is where you can ask for help with deals if you need help, or if you want to like try to co-broker with somebody, or if you just need our help to jump in, you can do that here. Um, post wins if you have like a win that you want to share with everybody, or a question about AI, or a question about your CRM, any kind of question you have, we can answer here. The classroom covers a lot that you would need to run your business, scale your business. Here's our link to Lenderbase, which I don't think you mentioned yet, but that's our lender matching tool that right now you do get with the community. So we are, it is in beta, but we're getting a lot of good feedback. And you do get that at no extra charge with your community membership right now.
Yep, and I think I will have her show you guys that just a little bit because of the feedback we're getting on it. To be honest, I was surprised how much people love it, but not entirely. Our broker division's already starting to use it. Had we had this tool 2 years ago when we started, doing our own brokering, it would have been a game changer and instead of trying to figure out who all the lenders are to use, who fits what deals, what criteria, scenarios, all that stuff. This solves that problem. So this will certainly be a tool that we are selling soon. But right now, like she said, if you do decide to become a member of the group, which I did just put the link in the chat too, if you want to look at the school group there, you will get free access to it. You would just sign up to let us know that you would get it. But we'll explain that here in a bit. But Chrissy, why don't you just give them a brief overview about what this tool does and how it works?
Sure. So I think we might have a few Nexa people in here, and I don't want to say anything bad about Nexa, but I will say that I've used their lender matching tool and was not impressed because I couldn't like use the criteria or the data that I needed to filter through lenders. So with ours, you have let me go back here. So you can do it a few different ways. You can browse the marketplace if you want to filter. You can save favorites, so you can go find your favorites here. Or you can actually enter in an entire loan scenario and have it match, a lot more data points. For me personally, I like to just go to the marketplace and quickly filter through here. You can enter in your loan amount. If you know like the loan term, you can put that. What type of loan it is. So we'll just do bridge. How many units? I'm gonna put mixed use. We'll see. That's not a lot of people love mixed use.
Should get thin fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's put rural into and see what happens.
Really thin it out now.
Very thin. Yes. So these are going to, obviously it's easier to get a bridge loan done on a mixed use rural, but finding a DSCR lender, things like that would be even harder. But we put in here all of these like kind of, criteria that help you find like the lenders that will do the weird stuff. You can even scroll down here if you want somebody that does deferred payments. We got one left. And you put in the FICO. I think that they might not care. So they must care a little bit. But anyway, so you've got like tons of options there. You can heart your favorite lenders. Here we've got our favorite lender up there top. Um, if you do enter in a loan scenario, so I've already entered in this one, you can click view and it will kind of give you a matching score. And you can tell it like how you want it to sort, like fastest close, A to Z, things like
So
that.
that is in alphabetical order, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's Burr.
That's the
So
only problem with having a B as a starting point, right?
that's okay. I'm going to add in
All
here
my
that you
kids are named with an A,
can.
just for that
Smart,
reason.
But
smart.
Aber.
I'll figure
But
it
yeah,
out.
so right now it's pretty simple. We didn't want to keep we wanted to keep it pretty simple, not too complicated for people. But we are still building out a few things and we are adding more lenders in there. But they're only vetted lenders. The lenders don't pay to be on here. It's all just data for our clients to help everybody close more loans. So
Can I jump in just real quick? Because I actually use this several times a day now. So before, the way that we had it set up, we always had a ton of Excel sheets and we're very organized internally. Everyone's a little bit of an OCD and organization in the company, and everyone's designed to do one thing. And since this was built and I've been testing it and using it and just every day, honestly, it probably saves me hours every day because we end up with a lot of, you've got your really A plus clients that are 700 plus FICO, they've got money, they've got this, they have experience. Great. There's so many lenders available for that. Using this, I've been able to solve situations now without spending, 3 to 5 hours researching random lenders or going through our arsenal of people trying to figure out what to do with them. So just kind of obscure situations with a bridge loan or rural is always kind of a tricky one. And, the rural requirements around that. So this just has really narrowed down my time for me. And I'm eternally thankful that it's operating at this point in time.
thanks.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other thing too is, by the way, about that tool, and I have to keep talking about it because I think it's pretty cool, is that we looked at some other things out there like it. One of them, I can't remember what it is. Someone probably knows, but it has like 7,500 lenders in it, and it's like mostly banks and credit unions, and it's like geared towards, private lending and all that. But it's like in reality, first off, I think it's almost like $200 per month or something, and it's very difficult to use and has way too many lenders. They're not necessarily vetted. It's basically like they just scrape the entire internet and just put it all in there. And that's what we did not want to do with this. We actually wanted to get you, lenders that you would actually use, that you want to use, that are actually going to help you with your business, not just the world's biggest list. Because I think, ultimately anybody could just create the world's biggest list if they wanted to. So that's what's pretty cool about it. But
Yeah,
either
and you
way,
do get our sorry, I didn't show, but there's also account executives that are recommended on there as well, and with their
mhm.
contact information. So
Yeah, because we also all know that not all account execs are the A plus ones. So we try to recommend the ones that we know are the better ones that actually move the needle forward for your business. But either way, so private money pros, again, we're going to be having calls like this once a week on average, sometimes two. They'll be about various topics. The whole thing with it too is, since it's a community, we want to make sure we're getting constant feedback. We're going to continue to watch what people are putting, in the community chat area that's like Facebook or whatever, to make sure we're continuing to create and improve and bring people on the calls that are going to be beneficial to you. So Joel will definitely be a guest quite frequently, but he won't be the only one. We have a lot of others already lined up. Some of them are other lenders, some of them are other experts, people that are maybe really good at social media. I mean, it's just all over the map. We have lots of
I want to be on
connections.
that one. I want to
Yeah.
listen. I want to
All
listen in
right,
on
Joel,
that one.
we'll put you on that one. We
Guess
might
I'm
have
going
to
to
get
sit
you
in
on
for
there
that.
too. Your social media game's going strong. I see that, but we
Nah,
know a couple others, so that might be a combo guest call. We'll have to figure
it's
that one out.
amazing how good some people are at that. It's incredible.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So basically, everything that you can possibly imagine that you need, we will do our best to help you with that. But we've already laid out a bunch of stuff. So the membership, like Chrissy said, it's just $99 per month. I have no doubt that even with Lenderbase or just one little tip, we're going to be able to get you that money back 10 times over. You also have a 30-day money back guarantee too. So if you're like, nah, this ain't for me, cool, no big deal. Just let us know and we'll get you your money back. Over time, we will start increasing the price. A lot of that does have to do with just, being able to afford to continue to provide things, bring people on calls, that type of stuff. It does still take humans at this point to do some of this stuff. Obviously, I am not a robot. I'm an actual human at this point. And then additionally too, we want to make sure the quality of the group is good. And so if you, keep the price too low for too long, so you're basically getting the founder's price at this point in time. So either way, I do want to kind of break this out now to Q&A, where, if you guys want, it might be the easiest if you put your hands up or just put in chat that you have some questions. Additionally, Eddie, I think you're going to create a breakout room. Is that correct? Make sure Eddie's hearing me.
Yep, I could.
All
Yep.
right, cool. So Eddie's going to create a breakout room. If you guys have any questions that are specific to Amped, and I know I didn't get into it too much, but you can talk to Eddie and Jimmy over on that side about any of our 4 services. Where we can see them. We have the broker lift system. This is basically what we've been doing for the last 10 years. That's lead generation marketing with back-end tech systems and people. Maybe you want to talk more specifically about this group that I've been talking about. If you want to talk about our CRM and LOS system, that's okay. And then Lenderbase as well. Lenderbase, we pretty much just showed you how it works. It's really a no-brainer to figure that one out. So you might not have too many questions, and it's free when you get into the group, at least for right now. So if you guys do want, you can jump over there. Eddie, how does the breakout room thing work again? I should know this. I should have AI'd this answer before I talked to you. Yeah. I know I could probably AI use the Zoom AI, but
Well, I'm creating one now, and I believe that everybody
you'll
can
be able to join it.
choose. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if anybody has any question about that, you can talk to them. But otherwise, we want to open up Q&A. And you can ask, if you have specific questions for Joel about anything he's doing, whether it's AI related or not, that's fine. Or if you have just specific AI stuff. I saw Joanne had a question about creating a PDF. You said something about they can't do it. Joanne, do you want to open up your mic? I know you had a question. I think you're the first one that had a question. If anybody else too, go ahead, just start putting them. You can either say it in chat, I have a question, or you can put your question in there.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah.
Hi, good morning. I should say good afternoon. Quick question. I have a giveaway that I want to put via a PDF. And I tried using Claude, I tried using Perplexity and chat, and it gave me a beautiful button. But when you push the button for the client to subscribe, it doesn't work, and then it tells me how to do 101 things that I don't know how to code and do. Is there a go-to for this to fix it? So all I want is I have a giveaway, it's a booklet, and they need to subscribe in order to get the booklet.
That's a good question. So, unless Chris uses probably AI a little bit more than I do, actually, you probably don't have an answer for that. I will tell you, for my answer is if you're trying to automate, people basically what sounds like an opt-in and to send it off. Getting AI to completely do all that at this point in time, I don't think is going to happen. I actually do think we're pretty close to that based on some of the stuff I'm seeing happen in this universe right now in the AI world. I would still say you're probably going to need some sort of external tools. That being said, you can certainly use AI to help tell you how to build things if you're a builder yourself, or another option. We did talk about GHL. GHL, Go High Level, which is basically what AmpedWorks CRM is. We've just built everything on top of it. It can do almost anything you can imagine, including all the stuff you're talking about. We do it ourselves, but yeah, I would still say there's still a lot of manual work to actually complete a whole entire automation like that. ManyChat, like we mentioned earlier, would potentially work if you have the PDF, but that's only if you're really using it on like social media platforms to initiate chat messaging through like Instagram or Facebook or whatever. That's where it works. So I don't have a specific tool for you that's just going to be an end all be all, but maybe Chrissy does. Chrissy's raising her hand.
Yeah, well, I guess I would ask you how you want to gather, you want them to click a button, or are they going to enter their information in and then it sends it to them?
Yes.
So you could I mean, essentially that's a landing page, right? Like that's what I would recommend that you do so that you can use that data to automate your follow-up sequences. Now, I think you might be able to build that out and this whole thing out in Lovable. The
Lovable.
only
Okay.
Lovable, yeah. You would need to have like a website, something. If you don't want to use like Lovable dot what dot freebie.com, if you don't want to have Lovable in your name, you want to get like a website to point it to. And in order to do like emails, it gets a little bit complicated. You can do it, but you gotta, like, I've done it. You have to get into your hosting for the website, and that's it. It can be done in Lovable. It just gets a little bit complicated when you're sending things out. So, but with Lovable, there's like a whole planning section, so you can start, instead of like when you go to Lovable, it's very affordable too. I think it's like $25 a month to start out. Um, don't do build mode, do plan mode, and just tell it everything that you want it to do. And then it will walk you through how to do it. So I just tell you, I did have to get our tech guy involved in a few of the email, like DNS settings, things like that. Because I was trying to do what Lovable was telling me to do. And it just like I couldn't get it, that part to work. And that's
Yes, I did the same thing. Exactly. Okay. Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah. But I
Yeah,
think if you have a CRM that can do a landing page, that would be ideal because it's all built in, and then your leads are going to go right into your CRM, and then you can start your automated workflows.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Our CRM again, which is on JHL. So if the reason why we used it, like I said earlier, is like it's the fastest growing. It has the most capabilities. They're adding capabilities faster than any other CRM. And this isn't a pitch for our CRM. This is just like, if you already have JHL from somewhere else, there's probably won't be like pre-geared towards private money stuff like ours are, where we include campaigns and all kinds of stuff that's already just specific to it. But it's fully capable of doing everything you're explaining and then 100 times more things as well on top of it. So I would say you definitely want something like that. And their AI builder stuff is getting better. It is getting to the point where pretty soon you probably will be able to, between that, maybe using some external AI tools, just say, I need to have this happen. Again, that landing page, hopefully you saw that I built earlier. That could be a perfect example, right? And then in fact, right now you could go and to that landing page that I built, enter your info, and we're going to be able to send you stuff off. And again, that only took me a couple minutes to do. So having a tool like that, especially if you're going to do stuff like this, even twice or three times a year, it's great to be able to build something like that in 3 minutes. There's still some back end stuff that will have to be built, but honestly, most of the back end stuff for that is probably going to take us 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops to do. So our time in total to be able to do basically what you're talking about, it's pretty good. Because just a few years ago, that would have taken us all, way more time than that, way more. So
Okay. Thank
other
you.
question. Yeah, awesome. Says do you guys have any other questions for Joel or about AI or anything? Or do we have a quiet group today? Do I have to play music again?
It's 420.
No AI tools. Well,
Today.
yeah.
Maybe just
Well,
kind of wondering about the balance in the AI sometimes, because I feel like people go really overboard with it. Like nothing makes me angrier to call one of our lenders and have an AI bot, for example, answer the phone. So I think it's like AI is great and it can really expedite things, but finding that balance of how far do you take it? Like, yeah, you could fire your secretary or your assistant and no one can answer the phone. But I think from a broker or a borrower's perspective, it's extremely frustrating. So like, I mean, or even within those tools, how to kind of even trick the AI to make it seem like it's more humans. Like, yes, you're getting these automations and things, but where the person calling isn't super aware that, you're employing so much tech to, I guess, just make them aware that there's still a person behind all of this. Like how you're scheduling follow-ups still when people are sending in these term sheets and getting updates. Are you still interacting with that person regularly? For you, Joel?
I'm sorry. I apologize to you.
That's okay. Like, are you still interacting with people regularly? Like, say people are updating these term sheets all the time. Are you still kind of following up
No,
with
we
them?
still are.
Phone
Yes.
call or
Yes. Yeah, I still spend way too much time on that. Yes. Yes. I mean, one of the problems that you have out there is just a backlog of time, right? You have thousands of loans that go through, and 20% of your day is spent on customer service. How do I get in the portal for servicing? How do I figure out my insurance escrow? How do I find this? How do I find, today I was dealing with something in the state of Pennsylvania from one of the law firms that represents Montgomery County on a loan that we're doing. So getting to the point where we can automate a lot of that customer service will be another crucial step for us as a company to free up resources to be able to your point, just stay on the front side working with Alex on her questions on a daily basis, right? So that we can supply you the best service you want. It's really tough handling all those different pieces.
Yep. And just as an example, if you guys haven't used the AI companion in Zoom, I just asked it to summarize what Alex had said, and I'll just put it in chat for you guys so you can kind of see it. It's pretty amazing. This
Yep.
also, like I was saying earlier, helps your, if you're using Zoom for any type of meetings or I don't know, calls with clients even or whatever, it can help you summarize all that stuff. Actually, at this point, I don't take notes anymore when I'm on Zoom meetings. I just have it take care of it all for me afterwards. I double check it. AI can make mistakes, but I mean, it's like 99% right on as far as like what it does. So it just makes my time more efficient. And sometimes I actually even have like team members prep the notes from the meeting myself for this team member to take the activity or whatever. So it's really AI is just doing phenomenal stuff for us, and I think it can for you guys too. So
I think for many of us, and I know I would imagine for you at the AMP team, one of the frustrations that I know I've experienced is in Google, the overlay of all the emails and trying to figure out where you are sometimes in a conversation with somebody. Now, with Gemini being incorporated, you have to have it turned on so that it will summarize this, in some cases, literally 100 email long chain
yeah,
so that you can go find the information and Brandon doesn't think I'm an idiot because I have no idea what he's talking about because it was in email 63. But now I can look, review the summary, just like he's showing you the highlights of what Alex was talking about with the note taker, and you basically have that available to you for all of your email chains. At
mhm.
first I was like, this is ridiculous. I can remember everything, but you can't. And unless you want to take a billion notes, like Brandon's saying, and be able to keep them all straight, these tools just change your life and make your life better. They don't replace you, they enhance you. You need to stay on top of the technology so that you keep using it in that manner. But you
Yeah,
can't be as efficient as you want to be without them.
yep, exactly. And I would argue that you'll lose competitive advantage if you don't really start adopting this stuff as well, for sure.
And Airtable is good for that. You're right. We use it. Go High Level is good, really good. They make it super simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joanne, just to verbalize the question, I have a perplexity. I have what's called like a space over there. Most other tools call it projects. It's already programmed to kind of know the generalities of like our brand, what we offer, what we do, prices, and all that stuff. Even down things to like brown colors, fonts, all that stuff. So I just told it, hey, I need a prompt so I can build a landing page about the four services we offer and so that it works in GHL. And then I literally just go to GHL's AI builder, which is just like ChatGPT or whatever. I just pasted it in, hit it, I left, came back, and boom, I had a landing page ready to go. I'm probably not going to have to do a lot more stuff to it. So I may put my personal touch on it a little bit here and there, but other than that, I mean, it looks pretty good from for 3 minutes of time. Mark's got a question though. Hello, Joe. Just to clarify, what company do you represent? Oh, he's with Burr. Well,
Yeah.
Joe, you can talk about it.
Our company is Burr Loans, burr.com.
Yeah.
When we're funding for the broker channel, we're trying to do almost all of our stuff now through DSCR Loan Funder, so it can be all white labeled for you.
Essentially, they'll find you and everything they need for this
Mhm.
at burr.com, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Good question. Yep. So
You can submit a DSCR refinance to our platform directly, or you can send it to me. Either way, whatever you're most comfortable with, it works.
cool. Did we pop his email in there? Hey, thanks. No problem, Mark. From a processing perspective, oh,
I was just saying I added it again as well.
okay, cool. Thanks.
Joel,
Yeah.
DSCR loan funder?
Yes.
I'm not getting it for some reason. It's not showing up.
Okay.
DSCR loan funder
I'll connect with you.
.com or something
Yes.
else?
But that's that's a back end naming convention that purposefully is set up so that people can't, so that your borrower can't go find them. So there is no website, right?
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
That's an email domain, I believe, right?
Liz brings up an interesting point in the chat. And I think it's interesting because I went to business school, God knows how long ago, but people are still going today. I don't really know why, but they do. And,
Agreed.
maybe I wasn't the smartest guy back then. And they, kind of like, well, maybe you should go into sales, right? So I wasn't smart enough for accounting or management, whatever it was. But now I think it's really flipped. With the use of artificial intelligence and all the different tools that are out there, the sales professional, the really good sales professional, I believe will be one of those now more professional career paths for people to be really able to succeed. There's still going to be, for many years to come, a significant premium put on people who can communicate and build relationships humanly. And a lot of people in a lot of other disciplines don't excel at that. And they will be replaced because they're more keyboard generated, right? It's easy to replace that with manual machine learning. It's much more difficult to create that type of relationship such that a human is comfortable with it and will act on big ticket items. It's one thing to sell you pretzels interactively online at, whatever the number is online. I don't know, $1.40, whatever it is. But when you're asking somebody to start making commitments to $1 to $5 million, they want to talk to you, Kevin. They want your physical input. That's not going to change for a long time. And I actually think because of the speed at which everything is moving, there's going to be more of a premium put on that relationship than ever before. And if you're good at communication and you're good at asking questions and shutting the F up and listening and letting somebody tell their story and then being able to work with them successfully, you can have a career that now takes another accelerated uptick when a lot of people are afraid of being replaced by all this stuff. I believe there's an opportunity for you to now accelerate your career to the upside because of the technology and using it as a positive part of your business, but never being afraid that it's going to replace your ability to connect with humans. Never is a long time. I shouldn't say never, but for quite a long time, right? Because the 20 somethings and 30 somethings, maybe that becomes something that's acceptable. But for the 40 through 60 somethings and 70 somethings of the world, they're not ready for that. They want people. Now, they're ready for it in a lot of different aspects, of what they're doing. They don't want to get bogged down filling out applications anymore, that kind of nonsense that drives us all insane. But that's not a substitute for talking to Kevin Clark and making sure Kevin walks me through my 2 hot points, makes me feel good about them, gets my questions answered on them, and then has the right to move this forward successfully. Not prior to that, but once we've accomplished that together, now we can move forward successfully. That's not going to be replaced so quickly by a machine. That is not going to go that quick. So I think Liz's point's well taken. And I truly believe that there's an opportunity here for us as sales-related people and people who have made and earned livings based on communication and relationship capital to enhance it even further.
Thanks, Joel. Cool. Well, now we're at about 3 or 4:30, not 3:30. It depends on what time where you're at. 4:30 Eastern, where we're at. Any other questions we can assist with? Anybody have any questions about anything? If not, I'll leave you with the link again to the Private Money Pros group. If you guys happen to want to look at it or become a member of that, we certainly would love you over there. I'm not seeing any other hands raised or questions coming in the chat, so I think we might have tackled it all. Any last words, Joel, Chrissy, anybody on my team?
Just thanks for coming on these calls, Joel. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, we appreciate the opportunity to be here with everybody. Seriously, for a second. I know that sounds like a canned line, but listen, I never really thought that it would all end up here for us. So I'm really thankful, and I really appreciate the opportunities to share with people and just be with everybody and, have the opportunity to be busy every day. It's great. So thank you for allowing me to be part of this.
Thanks, Frank and Adrian. Yeah. Well, thanks, Joel. We appreciate you jumping on too.
Thank you.
It's been a huge help for us, mentor and all that. And I hope other people can lean into you, whether it's for a loan or a piece of advice.
Thank you. Thanks for the insight, Joel.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Kevin.
All right. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Let's
Yeah.
finish strong.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, that's right. Half the week left.
Half. Well,
Less than
less,
half.
unfortunately.
Yeah, doesn't happen.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.